Hi, my name is Victoria Wine. I'm a senior here at JSU. I'm majoring in Human Sciences in the Family and Consumer Science Department. Today we're going to be doing some upcycled fashion. We're going to take a pair of jeans and turn it into a denim skirt. For this project you're going to need a pair of jeans, a pair of scissors, some needles, and fabric glue. So once you got your pair of jeans, you're going to start by cutting the legs off. Depending on the length of your skirt, you want to make sure that however long the pants are, it'll fit in this part right here, because we're going to take the pants and put it in here. So once you determine the length that you want your skirt, you're going to make 2 straight cuts. Usually around the knees is a good place to start, and you can shorten it from there. Alright. Once you cut the legs off, you're going to cut open the inner seams of the pant leg. I like to keep this part on the front side of the jeans and leave the part that doesn't have the finished edge on the back side, just so it looks nice on the front. The trickiest part of this is the crotch part. So what you're going to want to do is make a small slit right here so that you can fold that piece over. So I'll demonstrate that. So once you do that, you can fold over here, and then it will lay flat when you have it on as a skirt. So once you've done that, you can set that part aside, and you're going to get your inside piece. So you're going to need a piece for the front and for the back. Depending on how wide your slit is, you might need to use this entire piece, or you can cut it in half and use both sides. I'm going to use, for these jeans, I'm going to use this one side. So you're going to cut it open. Just going to double check and make sure it fits on the inside. Yes. So that's how you'll cut your skirt. So I'm going to go to this next part, and I'm going to show you on this pair of jeans that I've already prepped. So as you can see, I've cut them open. I've cut the crotch seam to the side, and I've got my piece of denim laying on the inside. So what you're going to want to do first is make sure that the edges are even at the bottom. And you can adjust this as much as you need to. After that, you're going to take your fabric glue and your pins. This takes about 2 to 4 hours to dry after you glue it down. So when you're pinning it, it's just to hold the seam in place so that it won't pop up and get all wonky. Because this is denim, you can be pretty generous with the fabric glue just to make sure it holds. Denim is a thick fabric, so the fabric glue is clear, so it won't bleed through or show any colors. So I'm going to start by, in this crotch part right here, I'm going to put a pretty big, nice glob right there. I'm going to press it flat, and then put a pin right here. And I'm going to show you on this side as well. As you can see, it doesn't hold it right away, so that's fine. But when I get this side pinned down, glued down, then I'll go back and stick the pins in again. So go down with a nice thick strip of glue. Take it and press it down. And come in on this side and do the same thing. And once you've got that glued down, you can adjust it a little bit if you need to. Then you're going to take your pins
And I would say maybe about 1 inch or 2 inches apart, just to make sure that it presses down all the pieces. And the only tip I would give when you're pinning is to be sure to not poke through to this underside here and then pick that up. Denim is pretty thick, so if you have some sturdy pins, that's very helpful.
If you have a thimble, sometimes it helps to push the pins in, especially on this part right here. It's a very thick piece, so sometimes the pins have a hard time getting through. So once you've pinned it and you're sure it's going to lay flat, go back and take this pin and push it through this thick piece right here to make sure it stays. And on the back, you're going to do the same thing. The back crotch seam is a little bit longer than the front, so it's okay to cut up a little bit higher and move this over a little bit more to the side. That way it lays flat. And you can play around with this as much as you like until you get the desired look. A little tip for the back, because you don't have that seam that you had on the front, what you're going to want to do is fold under your raw edges, and you're going to put the glue on this raw edge here and then press it down and pin it. And because you don't have this big thick seam, it should be a lot easier to pin it. So that's how you do the back side as well. And I'm going to move over to my finished product and show you the last few bits that you need to do. So here's the finished product. I'll hold it up so you can see it. And what you're going to want to do after this has dried for about 2 to 4 hours or longer, you're going to take out all the pins. And you can just check and make sure there are no gaps and that you sealed it all the way down. And if there are gaps, that's fine. You can probably put a little bit more glue in there and then set it aside to dry and wait until it's finished drying. So once you've done that, what you're going to want to do is trim away the excess fabric that's on the inside. Because all that we need is this little triangle here. So you're going to want to cut away all this extra flap of jean denim. It doesn't have to be neat or pretty, no one's going to see it, but you want to make sure that you don't accidentally cut into the skirt. So I'm just going to take my scissors and trim away the extra fabric. And once you've done that, you can see it's a triangle. You cut away fabric. I've already done it on the back part. So you can see how I cut away the extra leg flap. All right, so there is that part. And the last thing that you want to do is just to finish the edge. So you have 3 options to do this. You can either just cut it straight across and let it fray a little bit as kind of like an edgy look, or you can cut it straight across, fold under the end, and fabric glue it down, and then let that dry so you have a nice finished edge. Or you can take a piece of lace or some other rickrack and glue it to the bottom of the denim skirt. And if you let it fray, there's something called fray check you can get that you can put around the edges and let it fray a little bit but not completely unravel. So here's the finished project. For more sewing tips, check out #JSUFCS. Fear the beat.